Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. So far we discussed about model questions for till module 1 to module 4. So in this video we are going to discuss about module 5. Hope you guys are getting how the questions can be framed, and based on what kind of the questions have been framed, based on that how we are going to you can answer. Okay. So far we have discussed about the module 1, module 2, module 3 and module 4 questions, and along with the notes. So notes I have already told you what to follow. Just go join the WhatsApp group, follow my instruction, then only you are going to get the notes, because it's confidential since I have to publish as a book. I am writing a book. So let's see module 5 that notes I need to prepare. So as of now we are referring module 5 PPTs. So in order to explain the module 5 model questions. So the first question is give a short note on bioprinting techniques and materials. So you have to see the question first. So here you can't just simply write about bioprinting techniques and materials as it is in the notes, because in notes there might be extra information which is not required for your particular question. Here, what is the question? Give a short note. That means you are going to give the short note on bioprinting techniques as well as biomaterials. Okay. So for that, whatever the introduction is, it's given in the module 5. Okay, you can just go through my module 5 notes introduction that stands in bioengineering. That introduction can be given for 5 marks. Like for example, which includes bioprinting techniques and materials. You give the how exactly these bioprinting techniques and materials are going to help in the biotrends or bioengineering aspects, right? So in this you can write these 2 points and then draw this diagram, because it acts as a bioprinting process where the techniques are involved and as well as the materials are involved. You have 3D scanning, 3D design, bioink synthesis. Here is the technique is involved, where the materials are like bioinks. So 3D printing process is done, maturation, application, like that. Okay. So we can give a brief explanation about this schematic. No need to draw this diagram. So then this is very important. So comparison between 3D printer and bioprinter, that can be given in this particular topic as for 5 marks. No need to mention all the points, few points. So the terms to learn for this thing, this is only for your understanding, cell viability and vascularization. No need to go for this. So far whatever is this is there, that has to be written for 5 marks. Okay. So next question we are having is discuss about bioprinting materials used for the 3D bioprinting of tissues or organs. Now you need to discuss about biomaterials used in the 3D printing. What are those biomaterials? So here introduction you give, we can carry 1 mark. So there are few biomaterials are there. For example, hydrogel is there, cell laden aggregates are there, DECM is there, that is decellularized extracellular matrix. Then you are having synthetic polymer based bioinks are there, composite bioinks are there. So 5 different aspects are there, 5 different materials are there. You can start with the introduction, which may give you or may not give any marks, but these 5 materials, you give 1 sentence about hydrogel, what it is, give one example. For example, gelatin based hydrogel. No need to write all these things. For 10 marks you can write. For 5 marks only 1 sentence, 1 example, 1 mark. Next, cell laden aggregates, 1 sentence, 1 example. Decentralized cellularized ECM, 1 explanation and 1 point explanation, 1 example. Then no need to draw this diagram specifically, because it is not given for more than 5 marks. Next, synthetic polymers, one explanation point, 1 example. Same thing goes for our biocomposites also, 1 explanation, 1 example. 1 point, 1 example. If it is asked for the 10 marks, then it carries 1 mark. Okay, and then all the examples will carry 1 mark each. Okay. So that first introduction, that depends if any compositions or if contents are less, so they will comprise with that with 2 marks or 1.5 marks each, like that. Okay. So that's how we can write it for 5 or 10 marks. Next, with the need sketch, describe by 2 bioprinting techniques. So there are plenty of bioprinting techniques. There are, here I have explained 5 different bioprinting techniques. You have to give any 2. That means it carries how much marks? 5 marks each. So this is the general process. You can explain the introduction and the general process, which carries 1 plus 1 mark, that is 2 mark. Then you can start giving any 2 examples, which will give you 4 marks each. So inkjet based bioprinting, okay, extrusion based bioprinting, everything has got the diagrams. So the diagram plays a very important role. Then laser, microvalve based, and bioprinting of solid freeform fabrication. So 5 techniques are there. Any 2 techniques you can give as an example. Next, for 10 marks, okay. If it is asked for 5 marks, what you have to do? You have to write all the 5 techniques and explain any one. Mention all 5 techniques, explain any one. Okay. Next, with the need sketch, explain 3D printing of ear. So that has been asked for 5 marks. 3D printing of ear, your introduction, how it is done, the example, the diagram. So here the diagram, you don't have to write exactly like this. Make sure that the the ear is there. Okay, a small diagram you can make as a side part of the ear of a human being, and then the 3D bioprinted organ, which should similarly it should look like. Okay, and then we can make one petri dish and keep it on that. Okay, so next we are explaining the same thing, how exactly the components are there, and materials used. There are 5 materials are used. You can just explain them, and the technical importance you can explain. So technical importance will carry 1 mark. Materials used carry 1 marks. Explanation, the starting and ending will carry 2 marks, that is 4, and diagram can carry 1 mark, 5 marks. If it is asked for 10 marks, you explain everything, okay, in detail. That can be sufficient. Okay, then moving to the next topic, that is 3D printing of bone. See the question here. With the need sketch, explain 3D printing of bone. Explain types, that is an extra. So here, as we did for ear, 5 marks can be done for bone, but you have to explain the different types. So what are the different types? There are 2 types, that is additive and scaffold. So for introduction, you will have 2 marks, additive manufacturing 4 marks, scaffold based techniques will have 4 marks. Okay. So next, materials used for 3D bioprinting bones, that is not required. If it is asked for 10 marks, or 5 marks separately, you can ask, you can write that. See, next question might be that. Yes. Okay, separately they can ask additive manufacturing technique for 5 marks, scaffold techniques for 5 marks. So these 2 things together 10 marks they can ask. So discuss about materials used for bioprinting. So these are the biomaterials which are used for bioprinting. So there are 4 things are there. Explain in detail. So introduction will carry 1 mark. So every point will carry you give you 2 marks. Why 2 marks? 1 mark is for explanation, 1 mark is for your example. Next, 3D printing of skin. So 3D printing of skin, sorry, here you can see, discuss about the 3D printing of skin. So there you can just go through. Introduction 2 marks. This diagram no need to prepare or write or draw. So this process plays a very important role. So process will have around 5 steps, that means around 2.5 marks it will have. So here and around 1 mark, so to 3.5. So materials used 1.5, okay, or 1. Okay, we can just mention all these 3 materials because it is only asked for 5 marks. If it is 10 marks, you can keep on explaining all. Okay, design based on your this thing. So technological importance, there are around 6 things are there. No need to explain, you can mention for 5 marks. For 10 marks, you keep on explaining, understanding. So that was about skin. Next, architecture of kidney. So architecture of kidney, why it came here? So this question should not be here because this comes under kidney, comes under different module. Okay, 3D skin. So 3D describe 3D printed food. 3D printed food, again, how much marks they have asked? For 5 marks. Give introduction 1 mark or 2 mark. Okay, here explanation 1 mark, 2 marks. Any diagram you can simply draw as a 3D diagram, 1 mark. Materials used 1 mark. Examples 1 mark. Mention all these things are you need to just mention for 5 marks. If you are asked for 10 marks, then you have to explain all these things. What is edible paste, edible gels, how it is used, edible powders, how it is used. Or they can simply ask materials used for 3D printing for 5 marks. Examples like that. Okay. Frame your answers according to the questions. That's it, as simple as that. Next, explain about electrical tongue in food science. So in food science, you are having the almost 7 different sensors that can be explained here. So that is asked for 10 marks. So here introduction can carry 2 marks. This diagram can carry 1 mark. So 3 marks over. Electrical tongue 2 marks. Technology behind 2 marks. Sensory arrays used 2 marks. So 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 3. Total 6 plus 7 marks over. Now the materials used in electrical tongue that can be used. You can just mention or explain 1 or 2. That can be given for 2 marks, that is 9. Then comparison. So compare and advantage, limitations. You accordingly you mention 1 or 2 marks. You try to explain more something. Advantages, disadvantages. No need to give if they have not mentioned, and if the topic is too big. Okay, you can mention just do not describe, just keep explaining. So next, describe about electrical nose in food science. Same thing goes for the tongue. Okay, what it goes for this, see here it is introduction 2 marks, technology behind 1 mark. So sensory array again 2 marks, 4 marks over. Materials used 2 marks, 6 marks over. Next, comparing 2 marks, any 4 points can be compared here, so 8 points over. Next, this diagram 1 point, 1 mark. Okay, so that is 9. So advantages, limitations 1 mark. Okay. Next, DNA origami. DNA origami 5 marks they can be asked. Introduction, what is the definition? Introduction, explanation can give you 2 marks. Technology behind 2 marks. Next, but the applications or where it can be used, technological these things. So there is technological importance can be given for this 2 marks. So 4 marks over. Next, advantages and limitation 1 mark, 5 over. Same thing can be explained in detail if it is asked for 10 marks or 8 marks, 7 marks. Next, bioprinting. So explain bioprinting in detail, 5 marks. So bioprinting in detail, again here 1 mark, any since 5 marks it is there. Introduction, don't spend much time. Here some of the key ways. So key ways you mention all. So 2 marks you might get there. And then advantages and limitations 1 mark. So 2 plus 2 plus 1. Next, bioimaging for disease diagnosis. So disease diagnosis we are having again 5 marks. So it can be used, and don't waste much time on the introduction. 1 mark is enough. Example 1 mark. And comparison 2 marks, total 4. Technology importance, that is 1 mark. Advantages, disadvantages you can skip. Next, artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence in the particular disease diagnosis or disease detection. So that can carry around 5 marks. Here introduction, do not waste much time, 1 mark. Application you can mention or 5 applications, that is 2 marks. And then limitations you can mention with the 2 marks, so 1 mark. So 2 plus 2 plus 1. Next, self-healing bioconcrete. So by self-healing bioconcrete we are having for again 5 marks. Divide it into 5 marks. Do not spend a lot of time for introduction. Give what is important. Give the definition of biomineralization and how the self bioconcrete works. Additionally, the 2 marks you will get for first 2 slides, and then self-healing process. The whole process will have 1 mark because it is a very simple process. Okay, they might give you 2 marks for this. So 2 plus 1, I consider 1 mark. So 2 plus 1, 3. Importance 1 marks. Technology behind, so technological importance 1 mark. So you are having you have to mention, just you don't explain all these things, 1 mark. You just increase durability, sustainability, maintenance cost, increase longevity, new applications, reduce carbon footprints, all those things you just mention. So that will be for your 5 marks. Next, we are having describe bioremediation with the what is it? And biomining. So both the topics are there. Describe bioremediation and biomining. So both will have how much? 5 marks each. So that we have to decide So introduction will not carry any marks, but you have to give, that is just 2 remediations and micro mining is there. Give a definition for a bioremediation, a definition for biomining, 1 mark each. So 2 marks done. So comparison, 1 mark will be there, 3 marks done. In conclusion, you can have that in terms of this particular comparison they are talking about. So that same goes for the same thing. Next, you are having the identification of heavy metals and all. So here this particular process will carry for 4 marks. Okay. Next, examples will carry 2 marks. Next, summation of the removal from the metals can carry 2 marks. Like different techniques are there, you can explain. Next, advantages, disadvantages, 1 mark. So that will be totally 10 marks. So that's the end of this module. Okay. So if you have any doubts regarding the question banks, or you can say I can give you more n number of questions. Okay, I can make one topic, I can get you 3 or 4 questions. Like for example, instead of describe about bioremediation and biomining, I can just explain what with an edge case. Write the process of biomining. Okay, for 5 marks, or write the process of bioremediation for 5 marks, like that. Same questions again, it can be repeated. Simply it will be like more than 40-50 questions. That won't be, won't serve your purpose. So you have to make according to this thing questions, write the answer. Do not make your own predictions like that, wrong predictions. For example, if it is asked for definition, give only definition. Do not explain it. Okay, only 1 mark it is there, only 1 sentence. That's it. Okay. So for example, then discuss, you have to discuss properly. Explain it briefly. Okay, so write a short note, you have to write a short note on this mechanism. So you have to concentrate on gas exchange mechanism only. What is ferrometry? It carries only 1 mark. You have explain in detail, explanation carry 4 marks. Understanding? So whatever the question is there, that you have to decide with respect to that. So along with that, so far we have completed all the 5 modules model question paper along with the notes. So here, as I explained you first video, first module when I was explaining, I explained in detail about CO, that is course outcome. So next we are having something called RBTL. Okay, so here RBTL in the sense that will give you the what kind of the level it is. Okay, blown up level it is. So that particular level can be considered. So here level in the sense the first 1, 2, 3 and all will be there. That's understanding, applying, okay, analyzing, okay, all those things will be there. That based on that those things will be decided. But in question paper you will not be getting CO or RBTL, but while reading, while understanding, while explaining based on the topics, you are having certain POs and COs. So with respect to that we have RBTL. So next like that, based on that only you are going to get this particular level. That means how difficult this particular question is. That means whether it is in level 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. So most of your these concepts comes under 4, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so very hardly you will see 2. Why? Because all the concepts are bioengineered concepts. Okay, all concepts involves engineering, analytics, okay, analyzing, okay, all those things will needs all these kind of skills in order to understand those topics. That's why all levels are more than 2 only here. Okay, not just understanding, but since the technology involved, you need to apply. Okay, so that's why. So that's it. If you have any doubt, if you need any notes, then in the description WhatsApp link is given. Join to the group. I cannot give you the notes publicly, that I have already gave the reason, because I will be publishing in the book. So before that I don't want my materials to be public. So if you really want notes, without notes if you can't study, then I am ready to help you, but for that certain conditions will be there that I will put in the group, WhatsApp group. You join the group. If after 1 or 2 days I will not post anything, so that let everyone join, then later I will tell you what to do. So with respect to that, I can give you the particular notes specifically, personally I will share, so that you can read it, understand it, write in exam, but do not share it. Okay, so please respect my privacy, and since it is confidential, so for whatever I am doing, it is for you only. but before publishing I cannot share my materials. After publishing only I can share. Okay, that's it. If you have any doubts, please get back to me. Bye bye, see you.